Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. This is Chelsea with Hardy with Shine Don't Run, episode 28. And today I'm going to be talking about the number 3 law of the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. This by far is honestly my favorite law of growth. I'm so excited to share this, and I think it's my favorite because it's the area I personally need to work on the most. So let me go ahead and invite a couple of people really fast. If you are tuning in and want to say hi, tuning in live and want to say hi, let me know how you're doing, how things are going for you. Hopefully everybody is having a good Monday so far. I know it kind of just started, but there you go. Hi, James. Nice to see you on here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you always tuning in and giving me support. So anyways, this is going to be the number 3 law. I just want to say it one more time, of the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. This is the law of the mirror. Again, I took some extensive notes. I'm going to be referring to my notes down here. I will do my best to keep my eyes focused on this camera, but this by far is my favorite. So the law of the mirror is you must see value in yourself in order to add value to yourself. This is the law of the mirror. And I feel as though, like I talked about last time, we don't tend to see a lot of value or reason why we should put the time and effort into personal development and growth, when it's honestly probably the most important thing that we can do in order to not only achieve fulfillment in our lives, but in order to add that value to others. Somebody had said that personal development is the belief that you are worth the effort, time, and energy needed to develop yourself. So when you hear this and you want to ask yourself, do I see this much value in me when I'm thinking about personal development, and the belief that it is the time and the energy and the effort to add value to me? Do you personally see that you are valuable enough to put that amount of time and energy in order to add value to you? Many people feel to grow and reach their full potential when people fail to reach their growth and their full potential. It really is a lack of self-esteem, because we don't see that much value in us in order to take that time to learn and grow. Really quick, I just want to say thank you to Raymond and Sonia for tuning in, and then James, thanks for, I appreciate it. I'm not going to be too long. I actually have to go pick up my son at preschool, so you don't have to be on here very long. Once you see how you see yourself is how others are going to see you as well. So when we don't feel that we are very valuable, that's how others are going to see us, is they're going to see us as not valuable, because what we feel in our hearts and what we know in our minds is going to project out there to others, and that's how they're going to view us, right? So it's so important, even in, hi Raymond, thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate you. And hi Sonia, thank you again for tuning in. I'm looking at my notes right now, so sorry you guys. So when we believe that we are worthless and not good enough or a failure, there's no way that we're going to be able to add value to ourselves, right? If that's how we see us, how can we add value to ourselves if that's how we see ourselves? And one thing that John C. Maxwell said that I really took to heart, and it really made a huge impact on me, is we will never be able to outperform our self-image. So it doesn't matter what we have, what we've acquired, our self-image is going to limit our potential. Our limiting beliefs are going to limit our potential, correct? So in working on ourselves and in working on our self-image, it actually increases our level of potential and our level of success in our lives, which is absolutely amazing, right? And I don't feel that we're told how important it is to have a great self-esteem or a great self-image unless you really dive into the personal growth and development. But when we go out into the world, we're not really told how important it is, and it is so important. There was a quote, and I really want to get this right because it was such an important quote, that Nathaniel Brandon said, and he said, "If you feel inadequate to face challenges, unworthy of love and respect, unentitled to happiness, fear assertive thoughts, wants, or needs, if you lack basic self-trust, self-esteem, self-respect, and your self-esteem deficient, then that self-esteem deficiency will limit you. So no matter what assets you possess, you will be limited." And when I heard that, I just thought, wow, it's so true, right? And there's so many things on that list that I was like, this is something that I absolutely need to work on. Like, I very much have a fear of conflict. So, this fear of having assertive thoughts, wants, or needs, that's very difficult for me to really speak my mind and put that out there with things that I need or that I want. There are times that because of past choices or past events that have occurred that I lack basic self-trust and self-confidence in things that I choose to do. Even in being a mom, there are times that I lack trust in myself to know that I'm doing the right thing for my son. And that's huge, right? So I just, if you feel those things, if you feel inadequate to face the challenges of unworthy of love and respect, unentitled to happiness, these fears, no matter what assets you possess, no matter what you have in your arsenal to go out there and do what you need to do, it will limit you in the levels that you could be achieving. So then the next step in hearing all of this is, okay, I know that I need to increase my self-esteem. I know I need to increase my self-worth. I know I need to do these things. So what is the next step in order to take in order to achieve that, correct? Because we can sit here and talk about problems all day long. That's what the world does, is they talk about problems. But what's the solution to these problems? What is the next step that I need to take in order to be better and to do better for others, in order to add value to myself, right? And I think it's huge because I know that once we add value to ourselves, we will in turn add value to others, which is the bigger picture, right, you guys? So there are 10 suggestions from John C. Maxwell in order to help increase our self-esteem, in order to build ourselves up. And some of these are so simple, and some of these I found absolutely so profound. So I want to share these 10 steps with you guys. Number 1 is to guard your self-talk. I know you've heard that before. I know that sounds so simple, but it is so easy to become so inundated with what our brain chooses to say to us, even in total conflict with reality, right? There are times where I'm listening to my brain and I logically know it's a lie, and yet I believe it. So I really, truly have to be focused and dive into really guarding what my self-talk is saying. And he said like this crazy statistic where it said, when you grow up, you hear an average of 30 no's in comparison to 1 yes. So every 1 yes that you hear an average of 30 no's. So we are literally growing up with a negative self-talk that is being projected onto us since we're little kids, right? So we need to be our own encouragers. We need to stand up for ourselves and be our own encouragers, because we're not going to be able to go out into this world and find that everywhere we go. We have to stand up and do it for ourselves. So number 1 is please guard your self-talk. Number 2 is to stop comparing yourselves to others. And of course, I've talked about this in many of my other lives, so a lot of these things I find repetitive, but maybe there's a reason why I'm repeating myself, because it is so important. Some of these things are so important. Do not suffer from comparitis when it comes to other people. I feel that though social media is such a wonderful tool, it also makes it extremely easy to look at other people's lives and compare yourselves to them. And we all know that a lot of things that we post on social media are the things that we want others to see on social media. It's not the real truth. It's not the problems and all those other things that go on in our lives. It's all of the rose-colored glasses type of scenarios that we want other people to see. So please stop comparing yourself to others with where they're at and where you want to be, or making yourself feel better by comparing yourselves to others because you say, at least I'm not there, right? When we compare ourselves, and I love how somebody said this, that you should only compare yourself to your best self. So if you want to compare yourself to somebody, compare you to you in your best state and in your best mind. Number 3, move beyond those limiting beliefs. We get so stuck and caught up. We hold ourselves down, I feel, when it comes to a lot of our belief systems, and whether that's how we grew up or what we're choosing to do right now, we really do hold ourselves down by our limiting beliefs. So when we start thinking of limiting beliefs, turn those into self-empowering thoughts. So when we start think, oh, I'm not good enough and I can't do that, turn that around and start really self-empowering with your thoughts. Oh, thank you so much, Sonia. I appreciate that. These are really great tips, right? Like I wrote all these down and I was like, wow, these are amazing. Just empower yourself. Start like literally look at that self-empowering or self-limiting thought and like do the bipolar opposite of just like, how can I turn this around into something that is totally self-empowering. Number 4, like I talked about, is add value to others. Even in the midst of not wanting to do that, I'm going to be honest with you guys, there are times where I know it's time to do a live video, and it is honestly the last thing that I want to do because I am in a funk, or I'm having a bad day, or I'm having a bad week. And there have been times where I've given into that feeling and I just don't want to do it. And then there are times that I make myself get on this camera and do these live videos, and I feel 1,000 times better than when I gave into that feeling of not wanting to do it. So in the midst of not feeling adequate, turn that around and add value to somebody else. You could go compliment a stranger. You could turn to somebody and just tell them how much you appreciate them and how much you love them, somebody important in your life. It doesn't matter how you do it. When you feel inadequate, turn around and add value to somebody else. Number 5. Yes, I'm on number 5. Do the right thing even if it's the hard thing. One of my biggest words that I love and I respect so much when I see in other people is integrity. Have an integral spirit to go out there and do what's right, even when it's hard, even when nobody's looking, even when you know you're not going to get credit for it. Do what you know is right, and that will increase your self-esteem. That will empower you and uplift you, knowing that you did what was right. And in all honesty, it doesn't matter, right? There was a quote by Tim Tebow, and I hope I get this right, but it said, it matters more what God thinks of you than what others think of you. And I believe that 100%, that God sees all. So even if you're not being seen or you're not getting credit for something, continue to be integral and do what is right. And in turn, you will benefit from that in the end. Number 6, practice a small discipline daily. So every single day, I don't care what it is, whether you want to learn a foreign language or you want to play the piano, or, like right now I'm trading and it's very, very hard to make myself be consistent and sit down every day and focus on these charts and focus on trading and do it. But it is something that when I become consistent in doing, it really does increase my self-esteem to where I'm like, wow, I am doing that every day. That's awesome. And it makes me feel better about me. So whatever your passion and your desire is, a small discipline, do that daily. Maybe it's reading. Maybe it's, there's so many things, right? But just pick something for you and practice that daily. Number 7 is to celebrate small victories. You guys, am the worst at doing this. I was laughing so hard because I am the first person that it doesn't matter how many chores I get done, how many errands I run, listening to things, I'm always like, I could have done more. I didn't do enough. Oh, I was lazy here. I could have done this better. And that will absolutely take you down and deplete all of the awesome victories that you achieved that day. So everything that you achieve, do a little celebration. Obviously that could just be a little pat on the back, or if you have a great week, go out and do something for yourself. Just celebrate the small victories and know that every single step that you take is a step closer to a goal that you want to achieve, right? Number 8, embrace a positive vision for your life based on what you value. And I thought this was so great. So when we think about a vision in our lives, that we want to set out to do and we want to achieve, have it be positive and embrace that, right? And it needs to be something that you absolutely truly value. It can't, be something shallow or surfaced. It has to be something really deep in your heart. So embrace that vision. Number 9, practice the one-word strategy. And when he said this, I was like, what do you mean a one-word strategy? I had absolutely no idea what that meant. And it is the best word to describe ourselves. So when you're feeling down, oh, I'm so sorry. I want to read this. Oh, thank you, James. I'm gonna respond to that later, but I so appreciate you. When we think about ourselves, what is one word that best describes us? And I really, truly had a very hard time, and I was struggling a lot with this because I'm like, one word, and so I want to encourage you to think of 1 or 2 or 3 words. Maybe you need a little bit more, and that's totally okay. But when you're feeling down and out, and when you're feeling discouraged, and when your self-esteem feels like it's plummeting, really think of something that best describes you. And I realized in describing myself, the 2 words that I feel best describe me are loving and loyal. And when I think about those words describing me, it puts a smile on my face, and it uplifts me automatically that I know that God created me to be loving and loyal to those around me. And so please, I encourage you to really take the time, if you do nothing else today, to think of 1 to 3 words that best describe you, and to really start saying that to yourself when you're feeling down. And number 10, and of course, this is one of my favorites just because I feel that most people don't do this, but take responsibility for your life. You receive what you tolerate in your life. And as hard as that might be to hear, it is absolutely 100% true that everything that is going on in your life right now, and of course, I know that there are some things that we truly are victimized by, that we truly didn't ask for, and I get that, you guys, but when you look at the majority of your life, it is our responsibility with where we're at and where we are going, and we need to take responsibility for that and know that things that we have received in our life or have not received in our life are based on what we tolerate and based on what we, and what we are willing and not willing to receive. So that today, my goodness, my throat, that today is the law of the mirror. You must see value in yourself in order to add value to yourself. Again, this one is my favorite. I absolutely love it. I think that this law is so amazing. I hope all of you receive value from this. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I got to race. I got to go pick up my baby from preschool. But I just want to tell you guys again, thank you so much for the love and the encouragement. I will respond to all of these comments that are on here. Again, thank you. I hope you have a very blessed Monday and a blessed week. Go out, move forward. Again, like I said, think of 1 to 3 words that describe yourself. That is my call to action for today. If you could do 1 or 2 things, think of 1 to 3 words that best describes you and go out and add value to somebody else. I love you guys so much. Remember, lighthouses don't run, they shine. Mwah! Bye, guys.